everyone, it's Jodi here, your Wednesday host for SelFTMade. I hope everyone is having a good week. I'm having a good week, trying to get used to a new work schedule. I've been working a really super early morning shift, and I haven't done that in a really long time, so it's a little hard to adjust to. But I'm surviving this week, so hopefully next week will be better. Anyway, I'm going to jump into this week's topic. I'm going to stick to a few things that I want to discuss here for you all, and as always, you guys can always leave comments down below on any of our videos, and we will get back to you, and you guys can share your stories, and it'll be all so much fun. I was going to say a different word, but that wasn't, it left me. Anyway, this week's topic is advice for our past self. So I want to start off saying, that I want to explain my advice to myself. So, for those that haven't watched any of my personal channels or any my personal videos on my personal channel, when I was 16, like 15, 16 years old, I didn't really know who I was. I was having a lot of mixed emotions on where I fit in, and some of those emotions was I didn't understand why I was uncomfortable with people knowing that I was a female. Along with, I didn't understand why I was interested in women, but I didn't identify as a lesbian, and why I was meeting other females in this area, or in the city that I live in currently, my hometown, and then telling them I was a guy, and then never talking to them again just to see if they would believe that I was a guy. And so I just didn't really understand why I was doing that. So in regard to my 16, 15-year-old self, I would say with time, understanding and clarity will come through, and it will all make sense, from childhood on being uncomfortable being female parts, even in classes, to meeting girls off the internet when you're 16 as a guy, and why you would get embarrassed if people knew that you were a female. So that's kind of like a huge chunk of it there. My second advice to myself would be when I was debating on transitioning when I was 19 or joining the military. And my advice to myself there would be live life with no regrets and keep pushing forward forever. And I say that because I wasn't sure kind of which path to take, and then I found a niche of people in the military that were starting to transition on their way out the door. And I was also told at one point that I wasn't trans enough if I postponed my transition, and so I had a lot of doubts on what to do at that point, and so I just decided to postpone it, and that I felt that was the right choice, and there we go. And the last advice I would have to myself is never give up and never be content with where you are if you are unhappy. And the reason why I say that is when I got out of the military, I was really looking forward to transitioning and things like that. And I had it in my mind that I wasn't going to be able to transition until I got out of college and I moved. Because my hometown that I live in right now, and that I came back to when I got out of the military and started going back to school, there wasn't a lot of information, a lot of conversation on resources on how to start to transitioning and stuff like that. And there was like a few guys that transitioned together. They were good friends, and they were not very forthcoming with information and stuff like that. And I wish that I would have pushed harder in the idea of transitioning sooner rather than later. And I just got content with where I was at, being socially transitioned slightly and not physically transitioning, and I was like kind of in an unhappy place, but not at the same time. I was just kind of living and or existing in life, not really living my life, and so I was just a hot mess for a while. And then eventually I like pushed forward with, you know, some advice from my friend and support from like a really good friend of mine, and I found a doctor that nobody knew about, and a psychologist I went and saw, and stuff like that. And I wish that I would have found, or I would have pushed to find these resources sooner rather than later, since I did transition. I should start transitioning when I was 29 years old, and I'm 32 now, so it's just been like about 3 years, roughly 3.5 years. And so I could have started transitioning when I was 27, which is still late in life to a certain degree, but I would have been a lot happier at that point in my life because I was so happy and so ready, and I just kind of gave up. So that would also be another advice: never give up. If you want something bad enough, keep pushing for it, get support from your friends and your family, and you will eventually find what you are looking for, no matter how hopeless it seems. So, I'm going to end it there, guys. If you want to leave any comments for me down below, any other advice that you would give your past self, that'd be cool to hear. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.